want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel, and welcome to this week's Russ's Rant. A couple of days, man, apologize for the wait, but a couple of days after Carolina drops a 17-16 overtime game in the 130th rendition of the South Soldiers rivalry, man, and back-to-back stinking weeks, dude. Carolina is this stinking close from getting a narrative-changing W, man. I mean, I know Cal is not necessarily the greatest team. I think they lost last week, to go all the way out west and then play some good football, man, for all intents and purposes, and to drop that game by 3 when you should have probably won it by a couple of points if Leacock doesn't fumble that football into the end zone going in. And then, all the opportunities that Carolina had offensively. Once again, Paysor lost one at the pylon, which I still think that's a ridiculous thinking call. There's the letter of the rule, and then there's kind of like understanding, that who has last possession of this thing in football. I can't stand the rule because Paysor's got the last possession of the football, and the football's over the pylon. It hits the pylon. You would think, to me, it just makes sense that would be 6. There's no way that should be the defense's football. I just think it's a ridiculous stinking rule unless they recover it in the end zone. But, regardless, Carolina's this close. This stinking close, man, from being 4-3, 2-1 in the conference, as opposed to 2-5, 0-3 in the conference, man. And it kind of just paints a picture of how the inches matter, in the sense that, this game really is, it's a game of inches, man. And, if Carolina would have beaten Cal, if Carolina would have beaten Virginia, it completely changes the narrative surrounding this football program. But like I said, back-to-back weeks, it's this stinking close, man. And, it's a far cry from what we've seen in the first couple of P4 games, You gotta admit Carolina has made a lot of progress. And I give a lot of credit, man, to these kids for continuing to play hard. A lot of people are like, the locker room's lost and nobody respects Belichick and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, it sure doesn't seem that way, when you take into consideration how hard that they've played and how, for all intents and purposes, their biggest opponent right now is themselves. Their biggest opponent right now is themselves. And, that's not only the players, not securing the football going into the end zone. Those are things that we've got to do, especially ball security needs to be huge in practice this week before Carolina heads up to Syracuse for a Halloween night game, which will be stinking fun. But, it's also the coaching staff. I've given a lot of heat to Freddie Kitchens, man. And, I think rightfully so. I 100%, I don't think that I'm any kind of rocket scientist when I say this, but it's the weak link of the team right now. You fix the offense, and this is a completely different team. It really is. And I'm still hearing people say that the Belichick experiment is failing and, there's nothing that we can point to that shows success. I don't know about you guys. I'm hearing all this stinking noise from the outside about Cal's not very good and UVA didn't play well. Well, at what point do you give some of that credit and kudos to that Carolina defense? Steve Belichick and the Carolina defense, man, legitimately, those guys have absolutely turned a corner. They've played extremely well, especially the front seven. And I'll even say, man, that the secondary, especially against UVA, hell, even Cal, they really played well as an entire stinking unit, man, as an entire unit. And I am extremely pleased with that side of the football. And so, and I'm just kind of ranting here. Obviously, that's exactly what this is. But, when people talk about getting rid of Bill Belichick, I think that's dumb because all we really need to do is fix the offense. The defense is playing really stinking well, man. So you've got some pieces there. The special teams has not, necessarily completely killed us like it has in the previous couple of years, right? So the special teams has been decent. We'd like a more athletic returner, which they've put Green back there a couple of times to give us a little bit better of an athlete aside from Will Hardy. So some changes are being made, some things that we can, point to that are tangible that says, hey, we're changing some things up, trying to get some playmakers back there. So I can respect it. And like I said, the defense is playing well, but the offense is absolutely atrocious, man. And it's sad because it's really holding this team back. And once again, I don't think that it necessarily has to be that way because I feel like the offensive line has played a lot better. They've played well enough to win football games, man. But it all goes back to game plan, game scheme, and going away from the things that are working, i.e. running the damn ball. And even as far as going into personnel, and I don't know for the life of me where this is coming from. You would think Freddie Kitchens, but at some point, as we see this time and time again, you have to point upwards and you got to say, Bill Belichick, what are you doing? This is my this is my main gripe right now is at what point do you pull him aside, and if it's not you and it's him, at what point do you pull him aside and you tell him like, hey, we're running the football well. Keep running the damn ball. It's the key to good offense. You've got to run the football, and the key to good defense is you have got to stop the freaking run, man. And, I'm really tired of seeing us have success. And yes, 4 yards a pop is success right up the stinking middle with Benjamin Hall and guys like Juju. I just don't understand why we keep going away from that. The offensive play calling, it just week in and week out, it's just absolutely terrible. And we've been given a lot of stinking smoke to Freddie Kitchens about that. But even us Bill Belichick, supporters, eventually you got to also, like, coach, you're better than this, right? We need you to step in and do it. And if it's you and you're complicit, then you need to do something better. You need to do something better. And I know that that's a very vague statement, but just run the damn ball. I was just extremely frustrated that we threw the ball more than we ran the football on Saturday because, yes, Gio had a good first half. He only had like 35 yards passing in the second half with 2 interceptions. At what point do you say, yeah, let's get back to handing the football off and getting north and south, like I said, was one of the keys to the games. That defense played so damn well, dude, and they gave that offense every opportunity to stink and take this game. And it's just frustrating that you can be or play so well on one side of the football and the other side can just continually let you down. Just let you down time and time again. But it starts with the coaching. It starts with the stinking coaching, man. And at this point, as much as I love Bill and as much as I support him, he is complicit. He is complicit 100%. And he has got to do something, with this Freddie Kitchens thing, if it is Freddie that is making this offense so stagnant. I'm kind of, at this point, I'm not saying that it's through the rest of the season, but I'm like out of juice, man, for yelling at this guy because I feel like I've been banging my head against the stinking wall, since the TCU game, like literally, like what the hell are we doing? And that's just with Gio in there. I still, for the life of me, don't understand why we keep rolling him out there. And even fellow Tar Heels, man, that are like, yeah, we don't have any good quarterbacks. They all suck. It's like, bro, maybe I'm the only one. I don't think that Max Johnson sucks. I think that's an absolutely foolish, asinine, stinking comment. I think that he is a, probably a lower level ACC quarterback. I'll give you that. At best, mid. But he is undoubtedly, from what we've seen in game time scenarios and situations, he is the better quarterback, man. And the only game that we have seen him really play in to where he got all the stinking run was the Clemson game. And it just so happens that he was statistically superior once again to anything that Gio has put out there for us to see. So, the coaching staff with the personnel, whether it be quarterbacks, who's playing quarterback, whether it be, getting away from the hot hand, i.e. Benjamin Hall in the Cal game, Juju in the Virginia game, both of them, for all intents and purposes. And then the play calling, man. Just, the clock management at the end of the first half where we should have tacked on 3. They just absolutely made that so much more difficult. I could just go... We could go over all kinds of examples, man, of where there is some kind of disconnect, from head coach to offensive coordinator to what they're asking Gio Lopez to do. And they shouldn't even be asking Gio Lopez to do it because, in my personal opinion, they should be asking either Max Johnson or one of the freshmen to do it. But like I said in an earlier video, I'm fairly positive here that, they're married to Gio Lopez as a starting quarterback unless, God forbid, he gets hurt or anything like that. And, if that's the case, it would be crazy if one or both of them ended up losing their job, because they were married to Gio Lopez, as if he has really done anything to earn as many nods as he's gotten, man. So, we go to Syracuse, man, this Friday. I do think that that's 100% a winnable game, just like I thought that Cal was going to be a closer game. I told you guys that Virginia would be a 1-point Carolina win. It actually should have been, ironically enough, at the end of that game, a 1-point win. I think we should have won by stinking 2 touchdowns the way that we stinking played, as many opportunities as we were given. But, excellent opportunity to go up to Syracuse, man, on Halloween night and get a much-needed stinking victory, man. Let's see if we can get over the dadgum hump. Let's see if we can get over the dadgum hump, dude, and get an ACC victory and just kind of get that ball rolling a little bit as we get to the end of the season, man. 2-5, 5 games left. Carolina has to win 4 of them. There's some tough games coming up to a certain extent, a lot of rivalry games, but we're still in this thing, and let's just say that I wish that I could make some personnel decisions, and I wish that Freddie could give me the headset so I could call the offense, man, because we would be pounding the damn football, and I guarantee you that we'd win some football games. I feel confident with that. I really do. I feel confident with that, but we'll see what happens, man. Friday night, Syracuse, up in the Q's, man. And, yeah, dude, should be a W. I think I'm predicting a W. I feel like they're turning a corner. It's just that last damn piece is that stinking offense. So anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comment section. Tar Heel Nation, college football family. If you haven't already, man, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe to the daggum channel. You already know it's a great day to be a stinking Tar Heel. Can't wait for Friday, man. And we'll catch you guys on the next one, baby. Go Heels.